Okay, so I have to start getting ready to go. I do have two flights today to work. Um, so I'm gotta start getting ready to go meet my pilots downstairs in the lobby. But being in the gym today inspired me because I've been wanting for a while to do a quick vlog just showing the difference really between commercial and private aviation, because I know a lot of you that do your research, you know this already, but lately I've had a lot of the younger girls in my direct messages on Instagram writing me, just asking me like, hey, I want to do what you do, how can I get into it? And it's really a vague question, because you see online like we're always traveling, we're always staying in these nice places, but don't forget that everything isn't always greener on the other side. Like me, for example, I always just tend to post reels when I go to nice exotic places. So of course, when you go on my Instagram, you're always gonna see, oh my gosh, she's in Turks and Caicos, she's in St. Martin. But I'm not making reels when I freaking, last night we were supposed to go to White Plains, New York. The freaking runway was covered in snow and we could not land there. So we had to divert and come here to JFK. I've never flown into JFK on a private plane before. But yesterday was so freaking cold. The wind was slapping me left and right. When we got to the hotel, my crew did not even want to leave to go out to eat. So we had to Uber Eats in the room. I watched TV, went to sleep. Like, that's not glamorous. It's part of the job. So don't believe everything you see on social media. But I did want to do a quick brief, because I wanted to do this so much with a commercial flight attendant, so me and her or him could go back and forth, like, what are the pros of working private, and then me versus, like, keep going back and forth, like, okay, now you say a pro of working commercial. But I did used to work commercial, so I'm just gonna do a quick off the top of my head throughout the day. So for one, being in the gym today made me realize when I used to work commercial, that was a pro for me, because, all right, so when you work commercial, this is the thing, like, I feel I'm gonna start getting into this in-depth explanation. I didn't want to get into that. When you work commercial, how do I want to start this? It's just such a big playing field. Okay, a pro of commercial. A pro of commercial is when you get to the hotel rooms. All right, so when you land in the airports on commercial, you get your crew together, and then you guys go to this place called, on the airport, where you see all the hotel vans. They pick you up there. So you have to wait on the hotel van. Normally the hotel already knows you're coming, so they'll send the van strictly to come pick you up, but you're always on their time. So you have to wait on the hotel van to bring you to the hotel, and then when you get to the hotel, there's normally like a binder there, and they already have the room ready for you, and you just grab your key and you go to your room. Now, why I say that's a pro, it's because taking a hotel van, you don't have your own rental car. So when you work private, when we land, as soon as we land the jet, they bring a rental car right to the plane for us. So as soon as I'm done with everything I need to do on the plane, we hop in the rental car and then we just drive ourselves to the hotel. So I always have a rental car available for me to go shopping for the plane, if I want to go meet up with friends or family. So a pro for commercial, I say, is because when I used to work commercial, I never had a way around town. And I was so broke. That's another thing. You don't make, like, a pro of private is the amount of money we make. When I worked commercial, I was honestly so broke. I didn't even have money to take Ubers anywhere. Like, my salary, I think I was like at 20 grand a year, and I was really young, so I thought I was balling, but 23,000 is not a lot of money. So I didn't even have money to take Uber, so I literally would be in the hotel all day, every day. If I needed to go somewhere, I would beg the hotel van, but the hotel van only takes you like in the radius of the hotel, really. So I had to work, I would just live in the gym. I would live in the gym, go to breakfast, pocket a lot of apples, a lot of bananas, and I was in shape. I was in very good shape. So that's a pro of commercial, because now with private, Your girl ain't been going to the gym. I went through a little phase where I was driving to CrossFits all the time, trying to go to different gyms in the area, but I've lost my touch and I need to get back into it. So that's definitely one of the pros I remember from commercial. One of the pros of private, salary. Now salary, definitely with private, you do get paid, I feel like, way more. Now, different private accounts, different salaries, you know. There's Part 91 gigs. From what I've told, they range anywhere maybe like from 100,000 to 250,000. If you got a really good account, there's different accounts. Like honestly, the private money is there. Right now for me, I work for a company and I work for them 15 days. For those 15 days, I'm salaried. So whether they use me or not, I still get that check. I get 2 checks for those 15 days. Now, if you want to be a contract flight attendant, which is where you like have a daily rate, you probably can, instead of working for a company like I do, on my days off, I contract. You don't have to work for a company. You can honestly contract the whole month if you want, and you set your daily rate. Right now, I feel like the average, it can range anywhere from 800 a day to maybe 1,500 a day, depending where you're going, what you have to do, what aircraft it is. So add that up. Let's say you average $1,000 a day for 30 days. You do the math, and on top of that, you get daily per diem every day, which ranges anywhere from, if you're working for a company that's really low on the totem pole, maybe they pay you $50. Right now, I get $80 a day per diem for food. I've also seen companies out there that give you like 120. I've gotten offers before for $120 a day for food. If you do international, it's more money. So you get daily food money. If you don't spend it on food, keep it. So that's an extra like $14,000, $15,000 a year if you add it all up. Well, that's for my 15 days. For my 15 days a month, I get an extra $14,000 for food money. But I'm only making $80 a day for 15 days for food money. So imagine if you work a big contract trip, you'll make way more than that. Salary though, salary is very better. When I worked for commercial, so commercial really quick, commercial, they pay you per flight hour. So you only get paid for every hour you're in the air. The average in company is, I don't know, I haven't worked in commercial a long time, but when I used to work in commercial, I believe it was like $19 per flight hour. So you work a flight from Florida to New York, that's, what did I just say, $17 a flight hour, right? I think right now it's, let's say it's 25 bucks a flight hour. I think nowadays it's more competitive. So you work Florida to New York, that's a 2.5 hour flight. So you're making $50, $55, something like that. I don't know about you guys, but I spend way more than that going out to eat. So when I was in commercial, I was always broke. I never had any money. And then commercial, they do give you like $2 an hour from the minute you leave your house. So on a 24-hour basis, you're making probably like $2 and some change. I don't know, don't quote me, because this is why you have to do your research, because nowadays I'm sure they're probably paying more, but when I was doing it, I was getting $2.12 every hour from the minute I left my house. So it ranges, it pretty much, it would equate to like $48 for the day. So I was making $50 in the air, $48 for food money. That was $100 to fly to New York. And most of the time you do like three flights, maybe 4 flights. So let's say I made $50 on the flight to New York and then $50 on the flight to Texas. So you can make maybe like like 200 maybe. I don't know. This is why I wanted to do this video with a commercial flight attendant, because I don't know how it is nowadays. I just know back then I was broke, I was never making money, and that was a big driving force for me to leave. Okay, but we're talking about the differences here. Also, a good thing about commercial, I guess, because all my friends that work commercial and will refuse to work private tell me all the time, oh, well, you don't get flight benefits. Okay, so people that work commercial, you get buddy passes. Buddy passes, you probably get like 12 for the year. And the way that when I worked for American, they were doing it, it was you those buddy passes can only go to someone on your list. And if you put someone on your list, they have to stay there for a year. So you have 12 passes, but then you have to pay taxes on them. So buddy passes, and nowadays the flights are so full. Like, what are the chances that you can get standby on a flight? I don't know. But I'm also not fond of commercial. This is the worst video ever because I'm so freaking biased nowadays. Like, I don't know how people work commercial, but to each their own. You know what I'm saying? I should have done this vlog with a commercial flight attendant, because my commercial friends, they preach it to the day they die. And I don't know how they do it, but they like it. They enjoy it. So what do you guys think? Should I just redo the video with the commercial girl? Okay, so commercial people, they get buddy passes. For private, we don't get buddy passes. However, every time they want us to go to a jet, to go work that jet, they normally book us a flight. So when they book us a flight, we're flying as a passenger. So being that I'm flying as a passenger, I'm able to check in, get my miles, and accumulate status on that airline, which is good. When you work commercial and use your buddy passes, or any of your family and friends do, they don't get to keep anything because you're flying under the company's benefits. So you don't get no perks there. I get to keep all my flight miles. So to be honest, I feel like I've accumulated so many flight miles. If I wanted to buy my own freaking flight, I could use my flight miles, or I could use the increase in salary that I now make to buy my own freaking flight. But to each your own. If you want to fly commercial, see, I'm so freaking biased. Oh my gosh, girl, be open-minded. Okay, let me dilute my rooting for private aviation. Also, when you get to a hotel, private people, when we get to a hotel and we check in, we're not going to the binder and just getting a key and going to our room. Commercial people do not get to keep their hotel points. Actually, that's a lie. That's why I need to do this video with my friend. My friend, she works for Alaskan Airlines, and she gets to keep her points. And that's why it's good to do your research between different airlines, because some do. The one that I worked for didn't. They would keep all of our points. So being that I keep all of my hotel points, on my days off, I easily can take trips with my flight miles and my hotel points and book a free vacation for me and my boo, me and my mom, me and my brothers, and use my points for that. Now, my friend that does work commercial, yeah, she actually does have Marriott status now that I think of it. So I don't know, because her airline's very different. Like, Alaskan Airlines, like from what I've observed from her, gives her so many perks. Like, okay, let's say like she's in Texas, but they need her to work in a plane in New York. This is called, what's it called? I forgot the freaking name of it. Anyways, normally, like my previous airline, when they would make me fly as a passenger to go work on a different plane leaving from a different state, you're on the plane, but you're in uniform, but you're not working. So they would normally pay us half of the flight hour. So if my flight hour was 20, they would pay me 10 to do that. And some days they would make me do that like 5 times. I'm like, what the heck? My check's gonna be crap. But my friend told me she works for Alaskan Airlines and they pay her the full flight hours. So she sits on the plane watching movies and she's there and she says she gets paid. So you definitely have to do your research on airlines. Because that's another thing too, like people just always ask me like, oh, where should I apply? What should I do? It's up to you. For commercial, when you go to apply, they have bases. You gotta, depending where you want to live, like let's say American, for example. American has a base in Texas, Dallas, Philly, Miami. I'm not sure their West Coast bases, but let me check my phone. Do your research and remember, like if you're gonna be working for this airline, you gotta relocate to their base. So in commercial, you have to live at a base. You don't have to, but then you have to wake up earlier than you're supposed to, use your benefits to fly you behind to work. So like for me, for example, I used to live in Miami, but my base was Charlotte, North Carolina. So I used to have to wake up at 3 in the morning to get on that 5 a.m. flight from Miami to Charlotte, hopefully praying that they had a seat open. If they didn't, then I had to get on the 7 a.m., try to make it to Charlotte. And then if I didn't make it, then you have to have two boarding passes showing you try to get to work to have a valid excuse. If not, you're getting written up. Okay. So that is called commuter life. When you don't live in your base, then you have to commute. And if you have to commute, honestly, it was a freak. I would be up from 3 in the morning just to try to get to work, to be at Charlotte by 9 in the morning. And my work day hasn't even started. I would show up to Charlotte tired, sis. Oh, I do not miss commuter life. So it makes sense. It makes sense to live where your base is, so that way like you can pick up trips all the time. Oh my gosh, today's my day off. Look at this. I could go make some flight hour money real quick and fly to New York and come right back and then be home. So I always say like it's good to live in your base. For private, a lot of private companies right now are home based. So you can live anywhere you want. And then when it's time for you to go to work, they airline you to your jet, which I feel like I freaking love that. But remember, like always, don't try to live too far. I have a girlfriend who works with me who lives on a freaking little island off the coast of like Colombia, and to get to work she always has to take one of those like little planes, and then from there then take another big plane to the United States. And then like the other day they called her last minute and asked her if she could come to work, and all the little planes were booked and busy because they were having carnival out there in the island. So she could not get to work. So she was gonna get in trouble. So you always have to keep that in mind. Like if you're gonna be doing the commuter stuff or living really far out, like I have a pilot who lives like in Dubai, and it's like every time you gotta come to the United States to go to your jet, that's a long flight. And a long flight is it's cute. You're accumulating a lot of flight miles by doing that. But that flight's gonna get draining every month. You gotta do that long flight just to get to work. So it might be good then to like apply for companies that have jets near you, so that the commute to work isn't too long. Like for me, like a lot of girls tend to live like in Texas or Colorado, so like you can go to the West Coast, go to the East Coast, and it's a quick airline flight away. So those are the differences. Private, you could be home base, and commercial, you have to live on base. I gotta start getting ready to go to work, but I'm trying to think of what other really differences there are. I did go over like, so salary is a big difference, where you live is a big difference, the benefits are a big difference. Commercial, a perk, you have a union over there. Lately, like in private, it's been a lot of people have started flying private, and for us, like we don't have any limitations to when we have to like really stop flying. Like my pilots, yeah, they'll time out. Like we can fly like, I believe it's maybe like the most, I don't know the freaking rules, maybe 10 to 12 hours. They can't fly more than that, and then they have to rest. But with me, they could easily be like, okay, you're done working with these pilots, they timed out, now go to work with these pilots. That would be freaking disrespectful if they did that. The other day they did that to me, and I called them. I was like, you guys really think I'm immortal? Like, I help you guys out all the time. Where is the love in return? And they were like, oh, I'm sorry, we overlooked your schedule. So it is very rare for them to do that, but that's the thing, we don't have a union backing us up. So in commercial, if you get in trouble for anything, you can always have the union there to have your back, and they can't just like let you go like that. Also a difference as far as trips go, in private, like it just depends on what aircraft you get hired to work on. The bigger the aircraft, the better, like, you know, you're going to be doing longer hauls, longer flights. For those girls that really are dying to just do long trips, I'm not one of them. Not when I'm salary, just like, it's like, if you're gonna pay me the same amount, put me on a quick flight. um, but yeah, do your research. So like, if you see a company is hiring for a global, no, like for a global, you're gonna be going across the globe, girl. Now commercial, they have seniority. So unless somebody also like if you want Caribbean trips, you gotta be based in Miami, like, or down there somewhere, you know. If you want to be flying to Alaska and stuff, look on the West Coast bases. So like the trips are based on there, like what flights are leaving from here. A lot of international flights leave like right here, JFK, LaGuardia. Like if you want to start going to Europe and stuff, you got to see what companies are based here and do flights over there. And then even if you get based here, you got to remember there's seniority. So if you're brand new, you're probably not going to be put on those trips unless a girl that's been here a long time calls out, and then they call you and ask you to take over her trip. So you do have to work your way to the top as far as seniority and having the best trips with the best pay rate and stuff like that in commercial. In private, it just depends like on your aircraft, honestly, like what aircraft they assign you to, because then that determines what hauls you're going to be doing. And also knowing where that, if you work for a company, knowing where that company tends to fly to. Like my company right now, we do a lot of New York, Miami, Hawaii, and LA trips, and those tend to be a lot of my layovers. So you gotta like look up companies and see where they're going. If you go to fly for an owner, try to understand where he does most of his business at. If you go to work for a corporation, see where exactly they're holding meetings. I met a girl the other day, her owner flies to Puerto Rico only. So anytime she would have to go to work, she was only going to Puerto Rico, which sounds fun, but then imagine like always only flying to Puerto Rico. Like eventually you're gonna get tired of it. So you just gotta like see what suits you, what's gonna be the best fit for what you're looking for. And yeah, with commercial, I've heard it's pretty good, being that like you pretty much can bid your own schedule. So like they open up the bidding sheets, the bidding wars, they have a bunch of trips. I remember I used to look at the computer and be like, ooh, this trip pays this much money, I want to pick this up. This trip only works weekdays, so I'll have off all weekends, let me bid on that. Or this trip has layover in Memphis, and Memphis had a good gym, so I used to like to bid on that one. So that's how I used to do my bidding, and then you submit the bidding, and then depending if somebody that's been in the company longer than me picked that trip before me, then they would get awarded that trip. If not, then I would get it. So you pretty much are making your own schedule. You also can buddy bid. So you, like, I used to be able to like say, oh, I want to work with Maria the whole month of May and bid for that. And then like the whole month of May, I would be working with her. And that's one thing I do miss about commercial, is like you used to work with with other people, and I kind of miss that sometimes. Depending on the aircraft too, like I know business jets, those tend to be a few flight attendants, but right now I'm working on a Gulfstream, and it's just me on there. It's me and my two pilots, who tend to keep to themselves unless I go up there and bother them. So it's my cabin, my show, which a person like me, I tend to work really, really good alone, because I really hate how it drains my energy when I'm working with someone that I'm having to overcompensate for. When I was paired with a good teammate, it would work out. We would be a good mold. But when sometimes you're working with someone and they're lacking, it's like, all right, I'm already here having to give great service, and now I'm having to like also like manage you because you don't know how to do your job, and now it's taking away from me being able to give even better service. So I don't know, it just depends. There are some private companies where you can, my previous company, I would work on there with it would be two of us, and then sometimes three of us. So I do kind of miss that. But nowadays on commercial planes, with the really, really, really big ones, you can be on there with like 50 people, 50 flight attendants. That's a lot. But then you go out with a lot of people. Your layovers tend, they say, to be better because you're out with a big crew. Um, but that's just not my life now. And then yeah, there's just so many differences. You just gotta like really do your research. So to all of you that like just keep asking me like, I want to do what you do, it's like it's such a vague question because there's so many things like what suits you, where do you want to live, what trips do you want to do, what airplane do you want to work on, what uniform do you want to wear. Lately, like we haven't been wearing no uniforms. Private in my private sector, we get to dress how we want, but we are entering a part of private where now I will have to be wearing a uniform. Appearance is very strict. Commercial too, you have different uniforms, like which uniform do you want to wear, what pay are you looking for. That's like one of my main driving factors is compensation and pay. Like, are you going to be paying me like what I feel I am worth? I am a valuable asset. So yeah, you just hopefully that covers some stuff. If you have any other questions, just write me on Instagram because I have to start getting ready because my pilots will leave me. Yeah, they will leave me. Can't really think of any right now at the top of my head. I'm sure when I finish this video, they're all gonna flourish into my mental realm again. But yeah, hopefully this helps answer some stuff. Anything else that comes up, feel free to just ask. And yeah, hope you guys have an amazing day. I'm getting ready to do 2 flights today. One doesn't have no passengers, the second one does. And then I'll be done for the day. I'm going to my hotel. Actually, they just sent me my hotel. I gotta see which one they put me in because Aspen always has some really nice resorts. And I really like that. Okay, that one's good. $400 a night. I will get some good points for that one. Alright guys, stay blessed. Love you guys so much that watch my videos and support my channel, even though I know it's a little bit of a struggle bus, but I appreciate you guys. And for those of you in aviation or trying to get into aviation, once it's in your blood, girl, it's gonna stay there because I'm freaking addicted. I was supposed to go home like 6 days ago. 6 days ago was I worked 15 days for my company and then I started contracting. So that's like I was telling you guys, you set your day rate every day. I think I'm doing a trip right now like $800 a day. So I did work my 15 days and then I don't know what day I'm on now. I have no idea. I think I'm like on day 6 now. After the 15, I'm like I don't know. I'll go home sometime because my boyfriend's like, girl, when you bringing your whole butt home? So I do need to come home, but it's addicting. I freaking love it here. I love the work. Like, all my friends tend to text me like, oh my gosh, family drama and just stressed about real life problems. And I'm like, I went from my hotel to the skies and to another hotel, and it's like it's so peaceful. I'm by myself, nobody to like micromanage me in the air, and it's like my cabin. I can be in control of my service, my everything, and it's just like peace. It was something I was really looking for in a career, and I found it. Finally, I found it. And flying, I love flying. I love seeing different places. I love exploring different hotels. And you just gotta see what suits you best. And maybe if you are younger, you should test out maybe commercial first and then see if you like private. I would say commercial is more like, commercial, I feel like you're gonna get more of the traveling experience. With private, if you're more into like hospitality and being a great, doing glove service and wine service, and also going to places, good places for longer amounts of time. That's one thing I will say. When I worked commercial, I honestly would land and then have to leave right back out the next morning. I had no time to like indulge in the place that I went to visit. Um, and I literally would be so tired all the time, and I had to physically work to get my paycheck, you know? With private now, it's like they can let me. I've stayed in a hotel one time for the whole 15 days, and I still get my paycheck. So it's like I have more time now to work out. I just haven't been working out. And I have more time to like focus on me during my layover and go and see family, go see friends, actually like enjoy the place that I'm staying at. So that's one thing I don't miss about commercial. They used to really work me really, really, really hard, and I had no life. So I would have really early shows, but we're not here to down a commercial. To each their own. I just did what was best for me, and I feel like you should do what's best for you, you know? So hopefully you're able to figure it out if you're considering entering the aviation industry. I am all for anyone who enters the industry. I just cannot direct you into what would suit you best. So yeah, I gotta get ready to get to work to the lovely skies. And hopefully I get to see you in the air sometime, okay? Love you.